Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sunday Morning Shred. I'm your host, Mark Murray. This is the show where you wake up Sunday morning, you roll out of bed, you go grab your favorite beverage, however you like to start your day, grab it, and go over to YouTube. Of course, I got my coffee here. Go over to YouTube, and the show is waiting for you. It's already there, uploaded, and posted by the time you probably get up. So, today I'm going to be answering your guys' questions. I asked you guys for questions that you wanted me to answer on today's show over on Instagram and YouTube, and you guys came through with a bunch of them. So in a second, we're going to go over to the computer and answer your guys' questions. Of course, I got my coffee here with me. This is actually an iced coffee, which I don't really drink too often, but my wife made me a beautiful iced coffee. I told her I'm going to be doing the show, I need some coffee, and she said we only got a little bit left, but it's strong. So she diluted it, made it into a lovely iced coffee, and it's actually my second one I've had today. It's damn good. I usually don't drink sweetened coffee, so she throws a little sugar in there. It's good. So let's go over to the computer. We'll start with the Instagram questions. Here you can see I've got your guys' questions pulled up. We're just going to have them all on the screen there, making it easy for me today. The first one, we're going to start and just go right in order, starting with these Instagram ones. So let's actually adjust this down a little bit. Get it so you don't see a big old light in the background. That's not pretty. Yeah, it's that kind of show today, guys. I'm actually recording this on Saturday, and I've had a long day, so I didn't even set up. I cleaned out the paint booth today. The paint booth was so disgusting. I painted a guitar early this morning at like 9 o'clock in the morning today, and it had a ton of dust in the paint job, which, you know, a lot of times it's not a big deal, but with the type of paint job I was doing on this guitar, it didn't look good. It was a gloss black paint job. It's actually going to be a Stealth Frankenstrat, and typically if you're going to spray clear over it anyways, it doesn't really matter. But with the Stealth Frankenstrats, I just throw the black on and the gloss black for the stripes, and that's how it goes. There's no clear coat over it because, you know, that would defeat the purpose of the matte paint going on later if you know what the Stealth paint jobs are. But anyways, it's been a long day. Cleaned out the paint booth. It was super filthy. And now it's 6:30 at night, and we're starting the show. So, first one here, Ryan's Riff Rats. You can have lunch with any musician, alive or dead. Who and why? That coffee's delicious. I said delicious. Okay, so that's a tough one for me. I mean, let's think about it. My favorite musicians. I mean, one comes to mind right off the bat. Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen's the reason I started playing guitar. He's the reason I started modding guitars. He's, to me, the greatest guitar player of all time. Maybe, you know, you could say some of the newer guys are more technical or whatever, but in 1978 and before that, when he was writing those songs, the songs that they came out with on Van Halen 1, especially Eruption, is just mind-blowing. He's the best. I don't care what anyone says. That's what I think. It's my opinion. So it'd probably be Eddie Van Halen. Not only does he seem like, you know, he's a good father, he's a cool guy, amazing shredder, but he loves to tinker with guitars, and he was a freak, you know. He always had ideas. I've been talking to Robbie, one of the viewers of the show, and Robbie used to work at a Kramer factory and told me some of the things that Eddie used to do, and he was like a mad genius. And man, to be able to talk guitars and modding guitars and even work on guitars with him, and maybe we skip lunch and just go over to the shop and eat a couple sandwiches while we walk around the Guitar Guts shop here and talk. But man, that would be amazing to pick his brain. I don't know if he would be giving me all my, his ideas. He likes to hold things back, but Eddie Van Halen, it'd have to be Eddie Van Halen. Number 2, we got Max asked, what do you think about BC Rich guitars with lots of abalone? Someone asked me, it'll be the next question, so I'll go in a little more into the abalone in a second, but I love it. I love the abalone bindings on guitars. I love abalone inlays. I'm like, you know, I like guitars that are over the top, and those BC Riches, I consider them over the top, a little gaudy. I'm down with that. I like it. I like it to look like an Egyptian prince played that guitar. Gold hardware, abalone inlays, anything flashy, quilted maple tops. I love that stuff. I've never owned a BC Rich myself, but a few months ago I was going through the BC Rich catalog, their current day catalog, and there was a couple guitars on there that were just sick. So yeah, I like those. Nico. What's up, Nico? Nico's a longtime Instagram friend, follower, guitar player, and good to see you on here. It seems like Nico kind of disappeared. Maybe Instagram's algorithm is hiding him from me. I don't know. If you could play only one guitar for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? So if you watch my page, I've been posting every single day across 7 different social media platforms through the month of August. I'm kind of doing an experiment to see if you really put a ton of work into it and schedule things and plan themes and all that, how much of a difference is this going to make to my viewership and to my engagement? And I'm noticing it's the 20th of August now. It's huge. I'm seeing a ton of 200% increase in video views and watch time and all that stuff. So definitely worth it to be consistent on social media, I'm finding out, in 2022. I think that's always one of the things that have been important about social media. But I posted a reel a couple weeks ago showing my favorite guitar of all time. I've actually been highlighting some of my guitars in my reels on Instagram. And I've been posting the same videos to TikTok and to YouTube Shorts. So if you follow the main channel, you usually will see these same videos. Although YouTube has a 60-second restriction for their shorts, Instagram Reels and TikToks can be longer. I think Instagram will let you do 90 seconds. TikTok might go up to 3 minutes or something. So check this out. This is my favorite guitar right here. Got a little video. This is the ECY 165 CTM. Awesome guitar. Yeah, look at that quilted maple top. Look, notice it's got the abalone binding on it. It's got 27 frets, an ebony fretboard, mother of pearl vine with abalone flowers on it. Insane. 27 frets, double binding on the body, on the neck, on the headstock. Neck through 7-piece neck, walnut and maple. Look at that thing. This thing is just crazy. Seymour Duncan pickups, direct mounted. It's got a Floyd Rose. It's a Duncan custom and a cool rail. I added the push pulls and the Q parts knobs, but I can do coil splitting and phase reversal. And I actually played guitar. I don't really play too often anymore, to be honest. I'm just so busy working on guitars all the time that I don't really have time to play them as much as I used to. And I actually played for like maybe 35, 40 minutes earlier this week. And the first guitar I reached for out of the 20 or so guitars that I own was that one. And man, did it play like a dream. Then I switched over to my LTD MH1000, which is the green one. A lot of you guys know that guitar too. I think I might have a video on here. Yeah, this is the reel here of that guitar, which it's equally beautiful to me. The quilted maple top, it's got the same type of over-the-top gaudy bindings and flashy pickups and all that stuff. But the edge on this guitar, the edge where your forearm sits, the Edwards has a smoother transition there. This one's got kind of like a Les Paul has like a real, a sharpness to the binding there. And because of that reason alone, the Edwards takes it for me. The Edwards is so comfortable to play. The neck plays amazing. The neck profile is awesome. The sounds that come out of that guitar are amazing. The Edwards is it. Those two guitars are my favorite two guitars. If I had to go by playability only, it's those two guitars. But if I have to pick one, it's the Edwards. I actually have 2 of those Edwards guitars, and there's something about, I have the second one that's the same year, I think, and it's the exact same guitar. It's made from the same factory. I don't know why, it doesn't have that magic with me that the red one has. So I'm actually going to be selling the natural colored one because it's one of those guitars that I get obsessed with things, and I think I need things like guitars, guitar hoarding, I call it, or gear acquisition syndrome. That's what a lot of people call it, gas. But I had to have another Edwards, and it happens all the time. I see these guitars on eBay and Reverb when I'm going axe hunting, and I have to have them. And then once I get them, I never play them. They sit on the wall. I play them once every few months, if that. I play them a couple times when I first get them. Sometimes I don't even play them when I get them. I get them, I unbox them, I look at them and go, oh my god, it's so cool. I throw it up on the wall, and I never pull it back down. It's insane. So after doing this enough times, I'm starting to realize I don't need to keep every single cool guitar I find. I don't need to buy them all. I don't need to own them and possess them like the Edwards Star I also have. Same thing. I bought it. Hardly ever play it. Although when I do play it, it is an awesome guitar. Both of those Edwards guitars. Edwards are just insane guitars. But yeah, there's something about that red Edwards that I have that it's just a special guitar to me. Jose, which I'm working on a guitar. You could see the edge of it, right? Dang, I'm so bad at the weatherman thing, trying to remember. But it's a green guitar that's right here. I actually posted the headstock. It's a George Lynch style paint job. My customer sent me a picture of what he wanted. He like hand photoshopped it. I think he Microsoft painted it actually. And that's Jose right there. So you might have saw the headstock on my Instagram feed this week on the stories. He asked, would you make a double neck guitar similar to Dave Mustain's V or James Explorer? Yeah, I would. Although right now I'm not making any custom guitars from scratch. I'm only modifying guitars. But one day I would love to be, manufacturing guitars from scratch. And I would love to make a double neck Explorer. Who knows? A triple neck Explorer. A quad neck Michelangelo Badio guitar. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. The only thing is, am I going to play it? That's the question. I'm never going to play that. So maybe I'd make them to sell or make them to keep for a little while just so I can prove to myself, like, look, you don't need this, and then I would sell it. But I would love to make one. I actually almost bought an OLP. I don't even know if it was an OLP. Yeah, it must have been because it was like $500. OLP makes like they used to make, they're made by Music Man, and they used to have a very affordable version of is it called the Axis, the Eddie Van Halen signature before the Wolfgang, and they made a double neck version of it, and you see them come up online once in a while. It's a 6-string and a 12-string neck, so that's pretty cool to me. That's 2 useful necks, but how often am I going to really want to play that or need it? And they're also very heavy, so yeah, Jose, I would like to build some. Would I play them? I don't think so. Von Art Guitars. He makes some cool guitars. He mostly makes them, I think, for himself, but maybe he does sell them. I'm not really sure. What do you typically use for your clear coats? I've used a bunch of things over the years. I've used polyester clear coats. I've used polyurethane. I've used lacquer. I really like polyurethane. It's just the simplest, easiest to use. They make it in an aerosol can, Spray Max 2K clear. That's what I use for almost everything I do now. That's high gloss. The only thing is it doesn't go on as thick as a polyester. Polyester I used to throw like 6 to 10 clear coats on, but with polyurethane it seems like I need 15 to 18 clear coats, which is like I do it over 3 sessions. So like I'll do it like let's say I do it on a Saturday. I would do 6 coats, which is a full can, and then I would wait a week, scuff it up, throw a whole nother second can on there, wait a week, scuff it up again with some 600 grit sandpaper, and then throw a third can on there. So if I'm doing like crackle or splatter or multicolored stripe pattern or something, I'll typically do 3 sessions, and I'll have to go up 6 coats each session. So I'll be going upwards of 18 clear coats, or coats of clear coat, It's insane, but you end up sanding most of it off by the end of like the sanding and buffing phase, and then everything comes out beautiful and level. You just got to be really patient when you're doing this. All right. Dubstafoo. Here I am just ruining everybody's name. I'm going to be mispronouncing a ton of names here. Have you ever messed up on a guitar so bad that you just completely gave up on it? I got to think about that. I don't think so. I've definitely made horrible mistakes on guitars and had to let them sit for an extra month or 2. Let the paint jobs fully cure, and then sand them back down to start over from scratch. But I've never gone so bad that I completely gave up on it. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have. No. Even my test guitars end up turning out pretty cool, and I'll complete them when really my original plan was only just to make it a test guitar. So, no, not really. I've never really messed up a guitar that bad. Maluka. Sorry, I'm going to be mispronouncing names left and right here today. Can you do a tutorial on top mounting Floyd roses because it's Dimebag's birthday? Is it really Dimebag's birthday? Happy birthday, Dimebag. A tutorial on top mounting Floyd roses. I have done Floyd Rose conversion videos. I probably won't be doing a tutorial on it anytime soon because I'm not going to be doing it, I don't think, to anybody's guitar. I take that back. I'm working on a Kramer over here, a 5150 replica we're going to be doing, kind of like a replica. And I will be adding a Floyd Rose, and it will be top mounted. So stay tuned to Trash to Thrash and all that stuff. In the next few months, you will see that. John Fettuccine 1. What guitars do you look for exclusively when buying them? My main favorite guitars are Jacksons from the 90s and LTDs from the late 90s to early 2000s. Made in Korea LTDs, Japanese Jacksons, things that I can buy for... I'm looking to spend $200. That's like the normal price. If it's gutted, maybe I can get it for $150 or even $100. That would be the dream. And I'll go up to maybe $250 to $300. But after shipping and all that stuff, I try to keep it a little bit lower because, you know, that's the lower I buy it for, the lower I can sell it for, and the better chance I have of it selling quickly. So that's my goal, is to get things as low price as I can so that I can pass on the savings, because I do consider that goes into my bottom line when I figure out what kind of price I'm going to charge for a guitar. Tyler does it all. How often should I practice? Tyler's one of my buddies. How much do you or did you practice to get good at playing guitar? If you're starting out brand new at guitar, I would say the more you can practice, the better. If you're young and you don't have a full-time job or kids or whatever, and you can play for 6 to 8 hours a day, you're going to be shredding pretty soon. If you got to play every single day, and you got to want to play. That's the thing. You got to be motivated to play. So when I was young, I would sit there and play guitar all day long, like hours and hours and hours. And even in my recent years, like I haven't been playing as much the last 2 or 3 years, but 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago, when I was still getting better and better and better, I would play for 8 hours a day. I would wake up at 7:30 in the morning, make some coffee, go out in the music room I have here, and I would sit there till 3 p.m. learning Dream Theater songs and relearning old Metallica songs. So for me, it would take me 2 or 3 hours to get to where I was on fire. And what I consider on fire is I can fly around scales, I can recall things, my fingers are fully warmed up, my brain is focused. I love coffee when I'm playing guitar, so I love beer, but beer really messed up my guitar playing. When I would try to practice at night, it never worked for me because I used to like to drink beer every single night, but now I don't. I go to bed early and I wake up super early, so I don't really drink as much. But coffee, for sure. You got to get your coffee, and that'll keep everything firing. So I would say a minimum of 3 hours a day. If you want to be serious and you want to get really good at guitar, 3 hours a day, but if you can do more, that's better. And if you can do it like broken up, that's even better. Like a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, and a little bit at night. Or a lot in the morning, a lot in the afternoon, and a lot at night. Because the more split up it is, the more your muscle memory is going to kick in, and your brain will be working in the background to help you remember fingerings, and you're not going to get as frustrated sitting there for 4 hours, straight. You might get frustrated. So, as much as you can, at least 3 hours a day, and try to split it up if you can. Give yourself little breaks so that your brain can work in the background. Guy on a Bike, 9251, says, would alien blood splatter look good on a black Hetfield snakebite? I think so. I totally think so. I think alien blood splatter looks good on pretty much anything. I just did it on a Stratocaster recently, and it looked killer. So, yeah. Samuel, could you replicate the granite finishes of the old 90s Jackson Professionals? I don't really know how they did those finishes. I'd have to look at one up close, but I've seen them in the Jackson catalogs, and I think they're so cool. I'm pretty sure I could figure that out, but I don't know. I'd have to get one in my hands and try it out. Staz rules. Will you do any lightning using the using the Cricut? Oh, I misread that. I scanned through some of these earlier. Using the Cricut. You could, but it'd be kind of difficult because the way you get a good lightning effect is by airbrushing. And the way that you get really good lightning from airbrush is to like do a backlight of bluish, purplish, and then throw the lightning bolts in white on top of that so that it's glowing with the purpley blue behind it. I was practicing it for a little while. Now I'm just too busy with customer guitars that I don't really have time to learn brand new skills unless it's for a customer. But yeah, I probably won't be using the Cricut for that, but eventually I will, I would like to add that to the arsenal of skills. Doing some lightning. Eliminator. Nice, okay. Will chopping my Chinese dime V doable like this? Yeah. I have no idea what you mean by that, sorry. But I'll just say yeah. Jacob Gillis 5. What do you think of the BC Rich War Beast? I don't know what the War Beast is, so let's look it up real quick. BC Rich War Beast. Is it just a Warlock? Or is there something I'm missing here? It's a special edition Warlock. Oh, I see. It's like a little pointier than the Warlock. I think that thing's rad. I like it better than the Warlock, I think. Warlock is like more... There is a Warlock somewhere around here. Yeah. You know what? I like this better than the Warlock. I've never seen the War Beast. War Beast Extreme with a Floyd Rose. Comes with Fishman pickups. It's got the Abalone we were talking about earlier. That crazy, gaudy Abalone. Look at that. Headstock looks wicked. This thing's sick. Yeah, I like that a lot. That thing's awesome. Liam Rodek. How much time to dry a thick coat of spray paint? And also, are Crackle paint jobs more fragile? How much time to dry a thick coat of spray paint? I mean, every spray paint brand is going to be different. How thick you lay it on is going to affect that, and the weather outside is going to affect that. So, I don't know how long each coat to fully dry days, to where it's going to be like easy to handle and you're not going to worry about like your fingerprints getting imprinted on it if you squeeze it. It would usually days, maybe a day or two, but to get it to where you can apply more paint, like if you're going to do multiple coats, you don't want to let it fully dry. You just want to wait till it's like kind of like tacking. I'm not really exactly sure what you're getting at there, what reasoning, but to fully dry, you probably want to do multiple coats. You don't want to go too thick, because when you go too thick, it's not going to dry evenly from bottom to top, meaning as you're spraying it on, if you're laying it on so thick, it's going to dry at different rates at the different depths that it's at, if that makes sense. So it's better to do multiple thinner coats than one thick coat. One thick coat's kind of asking for trouble as far as drips or like it not drying correctly, because it's going to stay soft for a really long time. Wyatt asked, any thoughts on doing left-handed guitars? I've done a couple lefties. Anybody who wants to send me a lefty, I'll work on a lefty. More than happy to, but I don't go out on my own and buy left-handed guitars and rebuild them to flip, because lefties are only about 10% of the market, and for me, I support my family building guitars, so it doesn't really make sense to build a guitar that already the guitars I build are kind of niche. They're crackle, they're shred guitars, they got to take the right buyer to want to buy them. And to take that and cut 90% of the people already off, like when I'm in such a tight niche, I'll do commissioned builds for lefties all day long, but I'm probably not going to just be going out and buying lefties to build, because if I get stuck with it, I can't even play it. Brutal Extinction 666. That's a brutal name there. What inspires you to keep building guitars? I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Even when I'm done working for the day, if I have free time, I'm thinking about builds. I'm thinking about what guitars I would like to build myself, or I like getting better and improving at things, and that's something I'm still getting way better at, is building and refinishing guitars. So, and also now that it's my job, that keeps me very inspired, because I want to keep doing things that are different so that I can show them to you guys, and also it pays the bills. So I love it, and kind of thinking about where this is going to go one day for me too. That inspires me, because there's a lot of possibilities with building guitars. So yeah, there's a lot that keeps me inspired for building guitars. Andrew, favorite 7-string player? Also, do you have a favorite book? My favorite 7-string player. So, I'm right off the bat, the first one that comes to mind, there's actually two now. Well, I guess three. The two dudes from Unearth. I love Unearth. Unearth's awesome. Their first album, their first full-length mainstream album, I guess, The Oncoming Storm, is so good. I'm big fan of Unearth. Love those dudes. Also, Ron Jarzambek. He plays some 7-string guitars. One of my favorite guitar players. You guys got to check out Ron Jarzambek. He's a progressive shredder, writes awesome music. Trying to think who else, what other 7-string, I mean, there's Korn. I know I've got to be forgetting some, but yeah, those would probably be my few favorites. My favorite book, I used to read a lot. I made it a goal one year to read like a book a month, or I don't remember what it was, but I had like some goals to better myself, and it was like to learn to cook, to to eat better. I can't even remember what all my... It was like 7 years ago. But to learn how to make mixed drinks, to learn how to cook all these different meals, read more books. I had a bunch of them that I was doing for a whole year. And I got into The Rum Diaries. That's an amazing book by Hunter S. Thompson. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, one of my favorite books. The War of Art is one of my favorite books. It's about resistance and how fighting through it to stay productive. Michio Kaku's books on theoretical physics. I love those books. They're so fascinating. It takes me 3 reads of each page to understand what he's talking about. But yeah, that's all that stuff. I love that stuff. Money is no object. What's your holy grail guitar? I think I would have to say, honestly, I own it. That Edwards that I showed you guys earlier, that red guitar, that might be it. If not that, maybe a full custom ESP USA. If I could get like a maybe an an M2 or something like that, a sick M2. But I don't know if ESP USA does all the wild abalone bindings and stuff like that. Might have to go to the Japan shop for that stuff. So probably some kind of guitar like that that's got like a crazy binding, a Floyd Rose, dual humbuckers. But to be honest, that Edwards, I'd just be replicating that Edwards and probably getting it done in a purple burst of some sort. So that's pretty much my holy grail guitar right there. I also own a Gibson Flying V that I absolutely love. What else? Yeah, I would say those are pretty much my go-tos right there. Hat Trick. What kind of design would you do on a PRS? Personally, I love PRS quilted maple guitars. If I could get like a custom 24 and do like a transparent purple burst or a green burst or something, maybe some type of blue burst, blue to purple burst would be sick. That's what I would do. I love nice PRSs. I've never owned one, but I would. Nick asked, can you do customizing inlays like the Arrowhead inlays from ESP? You know, I understand the concept of how to do it, but I've never done it. It's a very time-consuming thing, and if you make a mistake, you kind of screw everything up, but it's pretty simple. All you have to do is make templates for yourself, route them out using like a Dremel or a hand router, a small router of some sort, and then you have to make your inlays and drop them in and glue them in and just sand them level. So it's not a huge deal. It's a huge time consumer, but I feel like that kind of skill set is in my... It's in my wheelhouse. I feel like I could do it. But no, I don't do that right now because that just takes too much time and the market for it is really small. Lucas asked, how do you go about making a gloss neck satin? Repaint or sand down slightly? I would do the repaint. I would sand it down because anytime you sand it down, you're going to be left with some scratches. It's not going to look beautiful. But sand it down with some 600 grit sandpaper. Tape it off real good, and then I prefer matte over satin, but they're both pretty much the same as far as feel. Matte's a little smoother than satin. But yeah, some people do the sand down thing. If it's a wood neck, like a maple neck or something like that, that's been painted gloss, then by all means you can just sand it down with like some 2000 grit sandpaper or something. I bet you'd be good. Retro Stock. Out of all the guitars you've done, which one is the #1 favorite? That's something I get asked a lot, and I would say it's got to be either and they both are owned by the same guy. There's 2 guitars. Like I was saying, I love M2s. I love my Edwards, and it's an M100 LTD. The Lizard guitar, Mark owns it now, and the purple Crackle one I did with the gold hardware. I think that one might do it for me because it's so my taste. So, yeah, probably that one. Okay, Rafi asks, can I respray a guitar with regular spray paint, or is there a bunch of gear I need? Well, watch Trash to Thrash, my show where that's exclusively what I use is regular spray paint. You got to know what you're doing, obviously. So get some practice in on some test bodies, but yeah, regular spray paint, that's all you really need. And then Moses here said, Jackson or ESP 6 inline headstock, which do you prefer? That's a tough one because I love both brands. I think they both have great headstocks. Very similar. They're both the pointy style. What do I like better, though? That's a hard one, man. That's a hard one. I mean, it's a difficult question. I guess I would go... They're even to me. I don't have a preference. I was going to just pick one, but there's no point in picking one, honestly, because I feel like both of them are really awesome. And then now my buddy Max sent me a DM. He said the question box didn't give enough room for his question, so he wants to know, you've talked about pop punk, metalcore, and being in a screamo band before. What are some influences from your favorite bands and influences of those from those genres? What I get out of those genres the most is the drummers are just crushing it all the time. Fast fills, they're always banging out killer beats. Census Fail is one of them. Finch was a huge one for me. Even Newfound Glory, their drummer, Cyrus Baluki, smashing it always. Great fills, keeping up the speed like Dragon Force. Those are the main ones that are coming to mind right now, but to be honest, a big thing with the metalcore or the screamo and emo stuff like that, and pop punk, is their vocal melodies are so catchy that's something that I kind of bring to the guitar and try to make something kind of catchy the way their vocals are catchy. So those were Story of the Year, The Used. Those are some of the ones that, to me, were just masters of getting, heavy and then bringing it back down and like playing with the music emotionally. Matchbook Romance is another one that they had a very soft side to them, but really like those guys too. Okay, so let's go on to the YouTube ones. You guys left me a bunch over on YouTube. And by the way, yesterday over on YouTube, I had asked, what's your preference for guitar construction? So bolt-on, set neck, neck through, or doesn't matter. And we got 393 votes here. Dang, that's actually pretty good. Bolt-on got 16%. Set neck, neck through, 48%. And then doesn't matter to me got 37%. I definitely prefer set neck or neck through, but if it's a really nice bolt-on, I'm down with that. But I just prefer the feel. Like, certain Ibanez have really nice sculpted heels. I like a sculpted heel if it's going to be a bolt-on. If it's going to be like, to be honest, that's why I stopped playing as many Jacksons from the 90s, is because they have a big blocky heel on them where the body and the neck meet, and when you're playing around the 12th fret area, you feel that on the back of your hand. So I prefer set neck, neck through, but hey, we got some comments on that one too. So let's read through those real quick. Dennis said, I know it's probably all snake oil, but I really like the sound of bolt-ons. Ola England has a great video doing a comparison. Being able to take the neck off is also really helpful for fretwork. It is very helpful for fretwork, but also, if it's my preference, I want it to be set up well, and I could deal with it being a neck through. I don't really care about that for maintenance reasons. If it's a super nice guitar, you're not going to need to redo it for a long time anyways, so yeah, maybe I'll have to check out Ola's video. Michael Metal 71, I've always been a bolt-on neck kind of guy. To me, if you ever damage or break the neck on your guitar, you at least have the option to replace the neck if the body and electronics are still good. True, but let's be honest. How many necks have we all snapped, or headstocks have we snapped? I've never snapped one. I've been playing for 24, 23, 25 years. I don't really. Since I was 10, I'm 35, so yeah, 25 years now. Holy crap, that is crazy. Probably longer than some of you guys, most of you guys out there have been alive. And then there's going to be all the old guys who are like, I've been playing since longer than you've been alive. And it's like, okay, cool. We're all old. Who cares? But yeah, I don't break guitar necks, and now I'm going to break one tomorrow on accident, probably. Why'd I have to say that? I don't know. I like neck throughs. I get your point, though, but I've never broken a headstock or a neck, so in 25 years, I'll take my chances with the neck through. Here we got, I've owned several of all types. There are gems and turds built every which way. True that. The Atomic Woodsman said, neck through is what I prefer. Set neck's okay. Bolt-ons, better be a good built one. That's exactly where I'm at. I'm with you. Andre said, only difference I feel is better QC in regard to set neck and neck throughs. Well, yeah, because they're also higher end guitars generally, but yeah, it's true. As many bolt-ons still come out of the factory needing a shim for proper saddle height. If a guitar is properly built with a nice tight fitting heel, there's no real difference. There's no real difference in sound of feel. Okay. Bolt-ons sound much better in my opinion. See, I don't see how they sound better because you're going to get better resonance on a neck through. But To each their own. Gary Parker said, I used to think set necks were superior, but I played some Ibanez bolt-ons which changed my mind. Both construction methods can result in great guitars. Yeah, if you think about it, every Fender Stratocaster is a bolt-on. So, I mean, how bad could a bolt-on be? Raymond Sanchez said, I'd probably love a set neck or neck through body once I got one. Yeah, I think you would. Eris said, what's the difference? Can someone explain? It's the way that the neck is attached to the body. So if the neck is bolted on, you flip the guitar over and you can see screws and like a metal plate or whatever that's bolting the guitar neck to the guitar. That's bolt-on. Set neck means the guitar neck is set into the guitar and it's glued. So usually it still has kind of a square heel on it, and the neck could be theoretically removed and a new one could be installed, but you'd have to like refinish the guitar and do a bunch of stuff to get that to work. And then neck through means the neck goes straight through the guitar all the way from the tip of the headstock down to the end of the body, and then the sides of the guitar are glued onto that. So that's how a lot of the higher end shred guitars are, Jacksons and ESPs and stuff. Okay, so let's get that out of here. And now we'll go to the final round of questions from you guys over on YouTube today. So we'll start at the beginning from Susan. Are there glow-in-the-dark or fluorescent paints that can be used for guitars? I think something with black crackle and a green or orange underglow would look sick as a stage guitar. And yeah, there's ways to do it, but I don't think there's much good options with aerosol cans. I've seen, is it Rad Rob? I forget his full username. But there's a guy, Rob, who does awesome paint jobs, and I think it was him, I saw him adding an additive to some of his paints, because he uses like a spray gun, and you can add glow-in-the-dark additives to your paint, but it does dilute the paint, so your paints aren't going to be quite as bright when they're, in the regular light. They're not going to be quite as potent, but yeah, there definitely are some. John asked, what is your favorite crackle paint job you have done up to this point? I would say as far as the crackle pattern, there's an Ibanez 7-string that I'm working on right now for my friend Andrew, who actually asked a question earlier in this episode. And the crackle pattern on his came out great. I posted it on my Instagram page a couple weeks ago. That one looks awesome. The 2 Les Pauls I did that I gave away like 6 months ago or something, Epiphone Les Pauls, those ones had a great crackle pattern on them. But my absolute favorites, again, were the 2 LTDs that I sold to the guy Mark. The Purple Crackle and the Lizard. Those 2, just to me, are guitars I would love to have. David asked, I've seen videos where people drill out dot inlays, but is there a way to remove shark fin / shark tooth / fin inlays? I don't want to just put stickers over them. I mean, there are ways to remove them. You're going to have to be real careful with a Dremel tool or something like that and cut them out, but then you're stuck with a hole in that shape on your fretboard. So if you really hate them, I would say possibly look into getting a new neck. Jacob asked, have you ever done a baritone conversion? I haven't, and I would assume that would require relocating the bridge because you have a longer scale length of 27-inch or more for a baritone. Is that correct, you guys out there? Let me know in the comments. I've never done one, but with like a Tune-O-Matic style guitar, it would be definitely very doable. Do you guys like iced coffees? Man, this is good. I can just chug that. It's also cold, which is nice. Michael, hey, what's up, Michael? You're back already. So, Mark, when are we going to see a lefty build on the show? He always asks me that. Just kidding. Seriously, what has been... The coffee's hitting me, apparently. What has been your most challenging build so far? And do you see yourself starting your own guitar company, making your own creations? I'd call it Mark Murray Customs. Keep up the great work. Rock on. That's the end goal, is to own my own manufacturing shop where we build guitars, original designs. But for now, I'm definitely enjoying the Pimp My Ride thing that I'm doing over here, Pimp My Guitar thing that I'm doing over here. We'll do more lefties when Michael send one in, and we'll get some more on the show when you send one in. The most challenging build so far, the Rockmaster was one of the most challenging builds because I just screwed up the paint job a couple times. Eventually I got it fixed. If you guys remember the PV Rockmaster episodes of Trash to Thrash. The Crackle Kelly was another one that was like I screwed the paint job up, had to start over, sand it all the way back down and redo it. That PV also, while I was assembling it, I finally got it done. We're 6 months, 8 months into the project. And back then I was knocking them out a lot faster than that, so I felt bad taking that long with that one. But then when I was setting it up, the truss rod popped, and I had to replace the neck too. I felt so bad about that one. Another one, I'm working on a Telecaster for somebody right now that is a replica of a Fender that is so elaborate, it's so difficult, so many things I had to do to customize it to get this thing looking right, because the customer had bought some budget parts that pretty much fit the bill, but they weren't exactly the same as the one we were working on. So I had to like fill in the rear, the back of the guitar. The electronics were mounted from the back on the one he had bought. We had to fill in the back of the guitar so there was no openings, and then we had to add a pick guard to the front, and it was a lot of custom work. So you'll be seeing it eventually. I'm still working on it, but yeah, there's been a lot of tricky ones because I've only been doing this for 4 or 5 years or 6 years, refinishing guitars, and I've only gotten really good at finishing in like the last 2 years. So I'm still learning as I go. I'm still getting better and better all the time. But yeah, I would love to have my own Mark Murray customs or Murray guitars or something like that. I would love to have the Murray name represented in the guitar world like that. That is so cool. Anthony Arona, hell yeah. We just finished a guitar for him. Have you ever thought about doing a guitar with a natural finish with some type of crackle finish on top? Here's an exclusive for you guys. Let me grab this guitar that's hanging up over here. This one isn't quite what he's talking about, but it's along the same lines. This is something that Uncle Sasquatch hooked me up with. Check this out. This is an OLP MM1, and it had a quilt top on it, a veneer. It's actually a little beat up, and I always wanted to try something like this where I taped it up and then sanded all the surfaces after taping it that were exposed and then spraying it black. So this one's actually matte black with quilted maple coming through, and I even taped off the binding, so we still got a binding on this one. And then the back's just all matte black. Did the headstock matching as well, so that one will be an episode of Trash to Thrash in the future. That was a guitar that was donated to the shop, and making it really nice. We're throwing a Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge. We got a nice neck pickup for it, which is the original neck pickup, and that one's going to eventually be for sale. So if anybody's saw that and just crapped their pants and wants to buy it, send me an email, mark@guitarguts.com, and when it's finished up, I'll let it go for a good price, under $1,000. Some of the ones I do are over 1,000, but I'm trying to do more affordable builds again, because the ones that are expensive, they sit around longer, they don't sell right away because they're like $1,300. And I got into the guitar customizing business because I wanted to build guitars, sick guitars that were like custom, but still brands we trust, like Jackson, LTD, and all that stuff, or OLP. And I wanted them to be affordable for people who can't afford a $2,000 guitar. Now my creations are starting to creep up there in price, $1,500 for some of them. I have sold one for $2,000, but I want to get back to the core of why I got into this, and also do some guitars like that one there that I can knock out quite a bit quicker, and like the Alien Blood Rhodes that I did about a couple weeks ago. I like to do the ones that are in and out quick for people, so the super thick clear coats and all that stuff, like I was saying, when I apply 18 coats of clear, like it takes 3 to 4 weeks just in the clear coats, because you got to let each session dry for a week, and it's a lot of work, and then the buffing and sanding and all that stuff. So of course I got to charge more because they take days, much more work. So yeah, to do a natural finish with some type of crackle finish on top, I would have to have a natural finish guitar and then spray it with the clear coat and then throw crackle on that so that the clear coat will activate the crackle. Yeah, it can definitely be done. Dark Gothic, so much thanks, you are amazing. Okay, that was irrelevant. Tyler Johnson guitar, if you won the lottery, what guitar are you buying first? Woo. Well, the lottery was just over like $1 billion recently, and me and my wife were talking in my backyard one night about what we would do if we won the lottery at that price. I don't know how many guitars I would buy. I kind of already own the ones I love, to be honest. I have like all my bucket list guitars I pretty much own, and right now I'm kind of over hoarding guitars, so I don't want like 7 of the same guitar all in different colors. I like the collection I currently have. I probably wouldn't get rid of any of them, but there's a couple out there I would be more into just customizing my own, so I wouldn't probably go out and buy. I don't know if I'd buy any, to be honest. I'd probably set up a 6 studio. We'd get a new house, buy a couple nice cars, and then and just live nice, probably. Surgemo, am I reading that right? What are some tips on setting up a Floyd Rose? The do's and don'ts, tuning, changing strings, etc. It's a little too long for me to go into here right now, but I do have a video on how to set up your Floyd Rose and some tips on restringing and all that stuff, so if I can remember, I'm going to try to link those in the description here. So if you see them, or hang around to the end of the video and maybe I'll pop a link up on the screen. Jeffrey said, would you ever consider trying a dye process for the finish on guitars? Yeah, I would totally do that. People make some amazing dyed finish guitars. I don't really deal with a lot of natural wood guitars, which is I'm pretty sure is what you want to do dye into. But you can do amazing bursts, and then throw clear coat over it, and they look beautiful. So yeah, I would. Also, on a previous vid, you showed us dipping a guitar and the process on how that works. Is that something you're considering or doing or already doing? Killer channel, by the way, and thanks for spending time with us. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for watching. Yeah, it's a brand new thing to me that I'm just getting into, the dipping thing. So I'm still not that great at it. I'm getting better, but I need to spend like a whole day, like set a Saturday aside and just practice hydro dipping. There's a lot to it though. So to get good at it and to get comfortable at it, it's going to take me a few, probably another full day or two of testing it out and seeing what works and what doesn't. Evan asked, what are some good tips on where to buy guitars and to mod and good places to buy inexpensive but high quality parts? I always talk about it when I go axe hunting. There's like 5 places I go to buy guitars: eBay, Reverb, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and OfferUp, which is an app that people sell stuff on. I'm sure Mercari and some of these other ones would be good too. But I've kind of stocked myself up. I've got like 20-something guitars I bought that are all affordable that I plan on rebuilding, but I got so many customer guitars to work on first that they're all sitting, and I kind of stopped buying guitars because I've got plenty. So, good but inexpensive, high-quality parts. I mean, the prices for those parts, you kind of get what you pay for. There's no real like magical place unless you get like a dealer pricing or like wholesale pricing for Floyd Roses and stuff like that. When I buy parts, I go to Amazon, eBay, Reverb. That's my 3 spots. Sometimes StuMac or Warmoth. But that's my main spots where I go. And prices are constantly changing. So I bookmark them. And every time I fill out an estimate, I got to go double check and make sure those prices haven't changed. Which they're always fluctuating up and down a couple bucks. So you never know exactly where the best place to buy parts is. You just got to shop around all the time. But there's no magical place that I know. If you guys know some that are good, leave them in the comments down below because help us all out. Let's help out the guitar building community here. Wally asked, are Futone big blocks better or different than Floyd Rose brass blocks? I think the thing about the Futone big blocks, I have had an actual Floyd Rose branded big block before, or brass block. The thing I like about the Futone ones they're an independent company that's based here in the United States. Adam and his team are all awesome, so anytime I can support them, I always do. I use the Futone on a lot of my personal guitars. I love their stuff. I think they're basically the same, although Futone probably has a bigger variety of options. Like they have the L blocks, and it's got like extra mass that hangs over a little further into like the trem bar area of the cavity. And all in all, I think they're basically the same technology though. It's just a brass mass that's going to give you more sustain and give you a little more brighter output. Wormfest. If you could only keep one guitar in your collection, which would it be and why? This is a hard one, but probably that Red Edwards I showed you guys earlier. It's difficult, though, because I have a bunch of guitars in my personal collection that are from my childhood. So they're sentimental, like I have a Les Paul and an old LTD M100 that I really love those guitars because they've been with me forever. My Gibson Flying V, I've had that since I was like 18 years old. It's another one that I really love, so if I could only keep one in my collection, I mean, it would have to be the Edwards because it would need to be one that I would play all the time. And that's the #1 guitar that I play, the #1 guitar I like to look at, so it would have to be that one. Gosh, you guys ask me some tough questions sometimes. Jesse Parrish asked, do you enjoy the other Power Ranger seasons besides the OG? That's funny. When I was a kid, I loved the OG ones because I was like the perfect age when those were brand new. Then what was the second one? The second run, was it Zeo? Power Rangers Zeo? I think I watched that. Then there was like I don't know if they went to Power Rangers Ninja or Power Rangers in Outer Space. I was out by then. Like, what? You guys have jumped the shark officially. I'm kind of looking forward to, as my son gets older, reliving all the Power Ranger stuff when he's like 4 or 5 years old, 3 years old, whatever he wants to start watching Power Rangers. I'm definitely going to be showing him it. I have a little Power Ranger shelf up here, which you can't see obviously, but over in my video game area, I have a whole shelf dedicated to cool Power Rangers, and Ninja Turtles were like my guys when I was a kid, so I love all that stuff. But other seasons, no, not really, I would say. Just the OG. DTF, the Prime Mover. Do you think you will have an airbrushing? You will have airbrushing on an episode this year? I've done airbrushing for bursts, like the Hellspawn. I did airbrushing on that episode, but as far as like artistic airbrushing, no, probably not this year. That's a whole skill you gotta learn how to do. Cryptic Coil asked, number 1, have you ever repainted a neck-through guitar? I have one that I want to repair, but I'm worried that I'm going to mess up the binding on the fretboard. And so yeah, I have done a few neck-through guitars. They've been featured on episodes of Trash to Thrash. The first one that comes to mind was the neck-through Rhodes, the Alexi Rhodes that I did. That was a neck-through, and also the black Stealth Splatter one that I did. There's probably been other ones that I've done on Trash to Thrash. Working on a couple of them over here. We got a Jackson Warrior, we got a Charvel Model 6, a Gothic Explorer, and an LTD Arrow. We got a Les Paul over here. These are all neck through, or set neck. And then there's a handful over... Oh, yeah, we got the... Where's that one? There's a Flying V also around here somewhere that's... Oh, yeah, right over there. I was going to say, I was working on it today. I know it's out somewhere. That one over there, that... Yeah, so... I work on a bunch of them. You just got to tape off the binding. Make sure you clean it really good with some alcohol so the tape sticks really well. And then put that tape on there and you should be good. Do you have any thoughts on Amaranth wood fretboards? My JS32 Jackson Warrior has one. And while I love the neck on this guitar, I feel my fingers don't slide as well when playing solos as they do on my rosewood fretboards. People talk about that kind of stuff, saying that certain fretboards grip your hands. Your hands are not supposed to be really making contact with the fretboard wood. When you hit your notes on the guitar, you should notice your strings don't touch the fretboard. And if you're playing with your hands, arched over, you're only touching the strings, and your strings are only touching the frets. So, I don't know why your fingers would be gripping more to one type of wood or the other, but I don't really have an opinion on that type of wood. There's a couple different types of wood that have come out in the last few years that I just haven't had experience really playing on. So, no, I don't know. There's another one. I forget what it's called, but Jackson uses... There's another one that's like a cheaper wood. They look good to me. And then, last but not least, we got Tanner here. I watch a lot of your videos. I sometimes watch your videos for learning on making custom graphics. How in the world do you do such amazing and sick graphics? Keep on shredding, bro. Hey, thanks. I don't know. I mean, the splatter and the crackle are what comes to mind as far as graphics go. And I'm not going to show you. I was going to show you guys a secret guitar, but that's only for the Patreon members. The green one that I'm working on, doing the Weatherman thing again. Right there. That green one that's like hardly hanging into the picture. That guitar is coming out so sick, and I'm going to definitely be sharing that on a Patreon exclusive episode in the future. If you ever want to see all the previews of what's coming down the pipe for Trash to Thrash. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. Good questions. If you guys have any more questions, leave them down in the comments below and I'll swoop them up and I'll answer them on a future episode of Sunday Morning Shred. I hope you guys have a great Sunday out there, or Monday, or whenever you're watching this. These episodes don't expire on Sunday night. So if you have a busy Sunday, you can always watch it Monday or Tuesday or whatever day you have off. You don't even have to watch it in the morning. You could watch it at night. You can watch it anytime. Throw it up on your TV, post it on Instagram stories, tag me in it, and I'll repost you also. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Rock on, my friends. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure to be subscribed to this channel and also hit the like button for this video. Here's a couple links to some videos that if you like this one, you'll probably enjoy as well. Be sure to come back next Sunday because we do this every week. And if you want to help support Guitar Guts, go sign up to the CEO tier of my Patreon. Links to that and my contact are down in the description below.